Hey everyone, it's Grady from SUBOVERLAND, and in this video I'll be doing a little walk around of this very new Suburban behind me. Let's get right into it. This is a 2022, man, it's crazy to even say that. So a 2022 Chevy Suburban, and this is the 12th gen of these. They started in 21 through today, so 25. I don't know when they're going to do the next gen, probably within a year or two, if they keep with what they've done in the past. But this has been a very fun project. I never get to drive new cars. I've never owned a newer car, and so it's been fun to get to know this next gen. And yeah, so quick story on this. This was just brought to us from a client actually in Idaho, so shout out to Idaho there. Thanks for bringing it to us. He just wanted the newer vehicle for a lot of different reasons, and that I'll try to go over. But on this video I'll just be focusing on the 12th gen, and then I'll do a separate video of the build on it. So we'll just focus on this gen here. So again, so a 2022, and a lot of the features I am still getting familiar with, but this is in 21, so this 12th gen. This is when they started doing, I believe, it's called Super Cruise. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And on this video, if I get some of these things wrong and you guys know more, please comment below and correct me. I am learning. I've never worked on, this vehicle, these new Suburbans, so I'm just kind of getting a feel of them too. But this is the Z71 package, and as I was researching, the Z71 package doesn't necessarily mean what it used to be. So, for example, this one has rear auto ride. So it has the auto ride in the back, and so you could still get that option on the Z71. And so suspension-wise, they had a couple different options. They had the Magna Ride for these year ranges, and I believe you could get that for the Z71 also. And then they had this auto ride, so the rear is an auto leveling. And then they also had just a regular, coil spring front and rear for this package. I am not sure what coil they use on the Z71 back in the day. They used a different coil, and so if you know about that, let me know. Another thing that I know about the Z71 is their approach angle. So I know the bumper and everything, the fascia is a little bit different. You get a better approach. You get the red tow hooks. Things like that I know are on the Z71 package. And I believe these running boards, I think this is a Z71 specific also. And of course you get like the badging and things like that. But you could option these out obviously however you wanted. And this one's optioned out pretty well. Let's get in the interior here. So these interiors I have absolutely loved. My employee Dalton, he was the one that was kind of working on this one more than I did. And one thing that he really noticed, he feels that just the quality of the interior, this one's the best. And he was kind of getting at just like the materials used. He feels like it's going to, hold up. Kind of the center console, it's like, solid. That's kind of what he was kind of getting at. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. I, love the seats. They're really similar to my 2015, I would say. So there's a lot of similarities with steering wheel to my 2015 and different things. This is definitely different. The upgraded, the big screen that they started doing in 21. Now right here, if you see, so it's cool. It's got, high and low range still. So that's still an option. Right here was a mode. and it had or regular, standard, comfort. I forgot what it said. Standard, I believe. And then it had sport, and then it had some off-road, like a rock crawler, or I forgot what they called it. And then it had a tow. So there's 4 different modes there that you could switch in between. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. What I'm assuming is just different shift points for transmission. So I believe this is mainly transmission related. And then with the off-road, yeah, maybe it keeps it in a lower gear. I don't know. Again, chime in there if you guys know exactly what's going on. But this thing still has, Bose stereo. So it looks like GM's still doing that. Has a giant moonroof. I think that's what they call these. It goes all the way back. It's absolutely massive. Still functioning and everything. Now under the hood here, with this year range, this 12th gen, you could get 3 options. This is the 5.3. It also came, so 5.3 gas, 6.2 gas, or dun dun dun, this is the first gen since way back in the day that they offered a diesel. So it's a little 3-liter Duramax diesel, I think. They still badge it as a Duramax. So it's a little 3-liter inline 6. That would have been a giant 4-cylinder, but maybe they would have, who knows. But yeah, so it's inline 6 and for the Duramax option. But this is still that 5.3 and great engines. They've kept with that 5.3 since 99, with the trucks. So it's been a really long running. There's been some definite changes, of course. Like this one is direct injection, so that's the main, thing here. So engine choices, I am stoked to get one of these at one point. I really want one of the 3-liter diesels. I don't know the reliability and everything on them yet. We'll see, but they're just fun, I think, with all the, a turbo. It's just fun. I do like diesels sometimes, and I think this would be a good option, a little 3-liter diesel in a Suburban. I thought that was genius. But the transmission is a 10-speed. It's a 10L80 that they started doing with this gen. This is my only one I've driven with the 10-speed. I've heard good things. It reminded, as far as shifting and shift patterns and everything, it reminded me of the 6-speed that I'm used to. And so it was, easy to drive and shifted really well. So we'll see, in the coming years when we get into these more. But I think this is going to be a really good gen for many years to come. And then another, some pros of this gen. I love how these things look. I really think they hit it out of the park. And I just love the styling of them, actually. This one's stock. We didn't do anything with the suspension. Maybe at a later date he might bring it back, but it's only has 40,000 miles, and it just drives awesome. So at this point, it's kind of like, you could do what you wanted to, but just a stock Z71 suspension here, whether you go with the Auto Ride or the Magna Ride and all that, if it's new, I would be tempted to make the same choice. Burn the tires off, and then when, in 5 years or whatever it is, we could, do some more. We could do the suspension upgrades. But as far as fuel economy and stuff goes, these got a little bit better than like my 11th gen that I have, and I think like one or 2 miles per gallon better for the 5.3. Now, I will say, I think when you get into that Duramax, that little 3-liter, another thing that I'm stoked about on those is I've heard they get awesome fuel economy. You can even pop into the 30s. So if anyone's experienced that before, comment below. But I've heard, mid-30s even on a really good day. And that's amazing with a giant vehicle like this. So you have a little turbo diesel just chugging away. So anyway, I think that would be very cool. Rear axle, that's another big difference I forgot about suspension-wise. These are independent front and rear suspension. So this is the first gen where GM went away with the solid rear axle. They've been doing IFS forever. They're actually the first, major company to do that for their full-size vehicles. But rear IFS, they took a long time. Everyone else has gone into it. Toyota, the Sequoias, and Ford. Anyway, everything's rear IFS now, or rear independent suspension, so front and rear. So I don't know how I feel about that. Honestly, the technology's there, so I'm not going to say it's bad at all. I think it's going to be a good option long term for most people. The only thing that you would want, if you're getting into like rock crawling and putting giant tires on these things, we might see some failures. But other than that, rear independent, I don't see any problems with it. Again, comment below and see what you guys think. So that concludes this video. Again, a 2022 Chevy Suburban. All in all, I've enjoyed driving this thing around, and I really think it's going to be a great gen. I think GM did a great job. I've heard good things. I mean, there's always going to be failure points for any vehicle, and I'm sure these have those too. But what I've seen so far is, I think it's another great generation of Suburban that we'll be able to enjoy for years to come. So if you guys have a new Suburban or want to buy a new Suburban and bring it to us and have it converted, let us know. We can do these gens too. But all in all, great gen. And I wouldn't shy away from this either, just with my initial thoughts. But thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.